Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about how to play the game Climate Adda, a game I made for the Replay Masters course and Play in Context public module. The game is a 3 to 6 player board game which is meant to drive awareness and also encourage action towards good urban planning. I'll be telling you about the rules of the games so that you can play it by yourself. Note that this is a prototype and not the final polished version, but the rules will remain the same. So, starting off, we have the city. This is your locality, and as you can see, the city has been divided into 3 zones. Maybe it will be clear if I zoom in. There's this zone marked by the purple border, this zone marked by the green border, and this zone marked by the red border. So the green is residential, the purple is commercial, and the red is industrial. This is your map of the city, and you will see several grayed out zones. I'll tell you the significance of that. These are the roads connecting the city, and each quadrilateral is a block where you can place stuff. What are these stuff? Well, these are your tokens, and these will be placed by the cards which are kept here. But anyways, this is your token. This represents a water body. The one represents a green building. This one represents trees. This one represents car-free zones or no car zones. And these ones represent solar panels. The way you play this game is depending on the number of players, you'll be given out a deck of cards. These cards will be your action cards or policy cards. And you will have a number of rounds. So your rounds are March, you start in March and end in July. The goal of this game is to decrease the heat index, since we are talking about heat waves, especially the problem of heat waves. The objective of this game is to decrease the heat index below this point. So I'm using a set of dice as a measurement, but you can use anything you want to measure the heat index. To right now it's at 48 degrees Celsius, and to get it, to win the game, you have before July, you have to get it down to 24 degrees Celsius. How do you do so? Like I said, there are your action cards, and I'll go over these cards like what they are. But you also have a budget. Your budget when you start the game will be 10. So here we go. And as you progress through the rounds, your budget will increase. So as you move up one round, your budget will increase by plus 10. And you will have to spend those resources from your budget to play those actions. So let's dive into what are the action cards that you can take. Let me take this one. Action cards, or the cards that you can play, are of two types. One, the map based, like this one, tree plantation. What this means, you'll see that on the top there are 3 categories, 3 columns, and so on the bottom. On the top, the number represents the cost of playing this card. So on the top you have 3, 5, and 4. These 3 columns represent the cost of playing this card in residential, the cost of playing in commercial, and the cost of playing in industrial zones. And you have the rewards for that as well. So if you plant a tree in the residential zone, you'll get a reward of 1 resilience. What's resilience? This, a parameter that you're going to be building up in order to decrease the heat index. How? I'm going to tell you. So with tree plantation, you gain 1 resilience for 2 trees planted in the residential zone. Similarly, you gain 3 resilience for 2 trees planted in the commercial zone, and 5 resilience for 3 trees planted in the industrial zone. Similarly, we have other action map based cards like a green building. Note, however, that the green building is not applicable to industrial zones. That's why you see like a dash on the 3rd column. Apart from that, you also have policy based cards. What are the policy based cards? Oh, before that, when you play a map based card, you choose where you want to place this token. So I chose green building. Say I want to place this, since I can't place it in industrial, I want to place this here. Why are the blocks important? Well, you see there are patterns which you'll also find in the rule book, that if you place, for example, a green building and a solar panel together in the same block, they grant you +2 resilience. If you place a green building, a solar panel, and a no card zone in the same block, only in commercial zones, you gain a +2 resilience. Similarly, every 2 trees per water body will gain a +1 resilience. Things like that. And the other type of card that we have is a policy based card, like this. Policy based cards are not dependent on the map. So on policy based cards, you won't see a column division. You'll see the cost at the top, which is 5 from your budget, 5 money. And the reward of resilience you'll get for electric vehicle incentivization card is 5 resilience for 2 cards played. Another policy based card I can point out to you is, give me a sec. This one, waste treatment. If you play waste treatment for 4 money, for 4 budget, you're gonna get 1 resilience. Stuff like that. Apart from these 2 type of cards, there's one more special card called raise taxes. If you choose to play this card, you'll have to roll a die. Depending on where your die falls, if it falls on 1 or 2, you fail the roll, you discard the card. If it falls on 3 or 6, you're gonna increase your budget instantly by +3 or +6. And if you get 4 or 5, well, unfortunately, your plan won't work and your budget's gonna decrease by -4 and -5. So this is a gambling card, use it wisely. The way the game works is, at the start of the round, like I said, you're gonna get a bunch of cards, and say there are 2 players playing. So depending on how many players are playing, say for example, there are like 4 players playing. Now you're gonna get like 8 cards, and you will have to decide in that round which cards you're gonna work on, which cards you're gonna use based on depending on the budget you have. You do not need to spend your entire budget. If you want, you can talk with your friends, you can talk with with the other players and decide that, okay, we are going to save our budget, we are not going to spend the cards. So in that case, whatever cards you may have lying on the table, you're going to discard them in a pile and then draw a fresh set of cards from the deck. And at the end of the round, depending on how many tokens you have, say you place a tree somewhere here, solar panel, a car free zone, and also like you play a bunch of cards, say you, not this one, say wait, these are both raise taxes. Okay, say you place this, you play these, you play these, and depending on the reward, you calculate your reward and keep a track of the resilience, how much you have. How the heat, now we have to calculate the heat index. So the rule is, for every 3 resilience that you have, you're going to decrease the heat index by 1. So since you have 6 resilience, you are going to decrease the heat index by 2. So it's going to be right now 4. Yes, so you have to play very carefully and decide how you're going to find that resilience and decrease your heat index. There's one more thing. When you move up a month from March to April or any other month, of course, your budget will increase by 10. So you can, depending on how much you had in that round remaining, you will definitely increase it. But the other thing is, you will have to draw an event card. Ta-da! What's an event card? Well, an event card gives you a condition or an event that has happened in the city. For example, this one says increased consumption. Summer heat is causing high use of ACs and higher fossil fuel burning. So that means that given this event is happening, your heat index will increase as follows depending on how many solar or green buildings you have. So looking at our map, we have just one solar panel. So our heat index going to increase by 5. Since we have zero, like one solar, like 0 to 2 is going to increase by plus 5. Now, if we had 2 solar panels, then it was going to increase by plus 4, like that. The other kind of events, as you move up the game, you'll encounter more events. The other type of event, you'll have to make a choice. For example, river dumping waste. Ready-made garment factories dumping waste in the rivers due to no accountability and zero policy, it's not in check. Now you and your fellow players make a choice, as in whether you'll ignore this problem or take a strict action. If you take a strict action, your budget is going to decrease by 10, but your resilience is going to increase by 5. If you choose to ignore this problem, your heat index will increase by 4, your resilience will decrease by minus 5, and your budget will increase by 5. So what the event cards are basically is that you are, as an urban planner in your city, you are facing real life incidents that happen in an Indian context. And you have to find a clever way to deal with these, as well as manage your resources and take an effective action against climate change and heat waves. So that is the game. I hope you are able to decrease the heat index to a tolerable value by the end of July. And I really hope that this game inspires you to be more aware about the challenges we are facing and also take action and hold the correct people with the correct power who have a control over these things, especially administrators and urban planners and city officials, and push for changes and take responsibility of your own locality so that we can solve this problem together. Hope you have fun. Thank you.